over 70 airstrikes hit ISIS caves and bunkers in 24 hours carried out by Russian jets.
Here's a summary of the article.
SOHR sources have reported that Russian jets have executed new airstrikes on ISIS positions in the Syrian desert, as they carried out over 70 airstrikes in the past 24 hours, targeting positions in Ithria and its surrounding areas in the eastern countryside of Hama, al-Razafar Desert in al-Raqqa countryside, positions in Hama Aleppo al-Raqqa Triangle and positions on the administrative border between al-Raqqa and Deir Ezzar. The airstrikes hit caves and bunkers, which is very likely that ISIS members are holed up in, as well as the back lines in an attempt to put an end to ISIS activity in the region, amid reports of casualties. Yesterday, SOHR sources have reported that Russian fighter jets executed intensive airstrikes since the early hours of Saturday morning, targeting ISIS caves and bunkers in Aleppo-Hama-Raqqa Triangle, amid reports of casualties among ISIS members. On Friday, SOHR activists documented over 35 Russian airstrikes since morning, which targeted ISIS positions in the Syrian desert, as the airstrikes were concentrated on Jabal al-Bishri in southern al-Raqqa and Hama Desert. On April 12, SOHR sources reported that regime forces and Russian-backed militias were deployed in areas of the Syrian desert and Aleppo-Hama al-Raqqa Triangle, along with preparations for launching a combing operations in several areas of al-Raqqa Desert. While on April 12, reliable sources informed the Syrian Observatory that a military delegation comprising officers of the Russian military police and others from the pro-Russian Fifth Corps visited the military airport of al-Tabaka on Monday, where the delegation conducted an inspection tour in the posts of National Defense Forces and the Fifth Corps in al-Raqqa countryside. This development coincides with new reinforcement brought in by regime forces and the Fifth Corps in order to launch a new military campaign in the Syrian desert, specifically in the deserts of Safian and al-Rusafa in al-Raqqa countryside, against ISIS members and cells prevalent in the region, along with a similar campaign by the same forces, backed by Russian air support, in al-Mayadeen desert since the beginning of this month.
This post received a score of 11,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Practice.
We're talking about practice.
Not a game.
Not a game.
Not a game.
We talking about practice.
How the hell can I make my teammates better by practicing?
He said practice so many times, it sounds weird now. Like road. ROAD.
What's that called again? Semantic satiation.
It should be mentioned that, in general, every time Russia calls in an airstrike in this area they first ask the Americans if they have any soldiers in the area.
Respectfully, how do you know that for sure? I'm curious about it.
Even when US called airstrike on Syria's airport, they warned them and Russia first.
Trump gave them a nice heads up and the Syrians moved all their toys out of the way in time. How kind of him.
The object was to destroy the infrastructure.
Wasn't it back in use within 48 hours?
Nobody said he did a good job, lol. I know Russia isn't the most popular country right now, but good job, thumbs up.
I believe this is one thing everyone can agree on: fuck ISIS.
Except you have no idea if they are ISIS or just some random militants fighting against Russians, Assad, Iran. They called them ISIS for some PR points amid all the Ukraine stuff going on.
The source for this information, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, is known for its generally accurate reporting. Nobody is perfect, but if SOHR says ISIS was the target, then it is very likely that they indeed were the target.
Russia has been bombing ISIS and al-Qaeda-affiliated and Turkey-backed terrorist groups like HTS since 2015, but people are saying they're only doing it as a show of force towards Ukraine due to recent tensions. It makes no sense.
Because they are on the side of Assad's government. Which makes sense for them. As long as Assad is in power, that natural gas pipeline doesn't get built and ISIS doesn't have an entire country to play with.
I know why it's happening. My point was that it has nothing to do with Ukraine, even though so many comments in this thread are making that claim.
Probably the sudden density of attacks being perceived as pilot training for an upcoming offensive as opposed to routine bombing.
No, these attacks happen all the time. Daesh though is really good at living with them, so it's hard to say if they inflict much damage. You can find loads of strikes these last 2 months.
Yeah, I know. Just saying that any article written about them is gonna get that kind of response for that reason.
Fair point.
Good. Fuck ISIS.
Can anyone identify the aircraft in the image? I'm sort of fascinated by Soviet-Russian aircraft. I don't remember seeing one like that before. It almost looks like they were going for a A-10 type design, except for the engine placement.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.